What's good? It's OG Drip, man. This is a channel where we talk about the spiritual truth and how to utilize energy on a day-to-day basis, man. And today, y'all, we talking about sign placement. So if your sun is in Aries, pay close attention. If it's not, still pay attention so you can know the roles and the relationships between each planet and each zodiac. So boom, moving on into it. So what we know about Aries is a cardinal fire. See, what you need to understand about cardinal signs is all cardinal signs is the jump start to something. So all cardinal signs is looked at as the leaders or the ones that is bringing in the new season. So even when you look at Aries, Aries is the first sign of the spring. You get what I'm saying? So this is where it brings in the spring. But even when you think about an Aries and you look at the Aries energy is known to talk about self, but is known to be very assertive. So even when you look at the spring, notice that Aries springs into action. So Aries is not only that, when you talk about the gender of Aries, Aries is the masculine sign. You get what I'm saying? So this is a sign that's all about action. You know how when you ever seen someone that's like a macho man, you know what I'm saying? That's someone with a lot of masculine energy. But when the sun is in Aries, it is exalted. You know what I'm saying? This is also when you come up with some people saying the spring. So when we're looking at Aries, you need to know that Aries is about the self. By it being the fire sign, it's the ideal, the passion. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes even the ego be very involved. So when you're looking at it, you got to understand this. Although you had a sun in Aries, so it's giving you this like this superpower, the power to be heroic, you know what I'm saying? The power to be a leader, you know what I'm saying? Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about self. So you could be the self-destruct button. So you got to remember that, because at the end of the day, by Aries bringing in so much power and being the first spirit of the astrological clock, it has to go in first. It had to go head first. AKA some people, that's where we get it from, being associated with the head. Also, like when you're being born, you know, you come head first out of the womb. Also, the realm, when it comes down to animals, is known to go head first into things, known to truck into things. So Aries is not fearing the possibilities of what can happen. This gives you the power of being the leader. While everyone's sitting back trying to figure out who's going to take the first step, Aries is going to take the first step. So sometimes you got to remember, all of this at the end of the day could be your downfall, because it could start off with you. You could break your own, you could burn your own bridges by being too fiery. But that means by you being too self-centered, by you being too impulsive. It could start arguments with people and not ending on no good note either, because at the end of the day, you're not going to see their side. You're only going to see your side. You're only going to be trying to understand it from more of a deep aggression behind it. You know what I mean? It's like this. At the end of the day, all the fire and all the energy, all the masculinity is just making you active sometimes, that you need to jump into action and need to take place in war. By Mars being a native planet, this is the planet some people say of Mars. Even in mythology, they say that Mars is the planet of war. You get what I'm saying? So when you think about it, I think I said more, but either way, when you think about it, it's like this. Aries in mythology is known as the god of war. The god of war is actually being a planet of Mars, and being backed up is actually supporting Aries. So when you're looking at Aries, Aries is known to be ready to take it there. So it's like this. You can see an Aries, right? This is how you check them as a person, right? You can see an Aries just hanging out on the block. This might be someone you be looking at. You like, damn, why is he standing like he got a problem? Like, why is he standing so aggressive? Why does it look like he did something or about to do something? You get what I'm saying? It's just the type of energy, the type of aura they give off. So when you notice Aries is always the type of person that seems like they care about themselves all the time. But you got to remember, by them being a fire sign, they also have passion. So it's like a shield for them. It's like they'll rather protect themselves by diving in action, cutting through things. But when it comes down to them protecting something, it need to be something that they feel like is worth their protection. You get what I'm saying? And they're going to dive fully into it. So you'll see them as protecting people and growing a bond with them. You'll see that they're very passionate about that person, to they'll go so hard for them, it'll be like they're going hard for themselves. So at the end of the day, you do have this heroic power. But you got to remember, by being a leader, if no one wants to look up to you, who are you necessarily leading? You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And how you going to be the most, you know, at the end of the day, it takes a team. You can't do it all on your own. That's why you have all other zodiacs after you started. As you can see, after that, other zodiacs came behind you. So at the end of the day, this energy make you feel like you don't need no one else, but truly you do. You can't do it all without yourself. So at the end of the day, you need to know that you only could hurt yourself. You get what I'm saying? So it's really a battle of your spirit and your ego, and the way that you're intaking things, the way that you're thinking you should go about things, but really how you're being seen is a whole nother thing. So at the end of the day, yeah, this your sun sign. But as your sun sign, this is just one characteristic. You have three main: your sun, your moon, and your ascendant. So at the end of the day, this is what's being seen. This is what's being hit by the light. So at the end of the day, you don't want to be that type of person where nobody like, man, yo, that person, they too proud of themselves. They too proud of themselves. They too self-centered where they feel like no one can tell them nothing. Where they don't even need no one to a point that they feel like they should have been in this world alone. Let me tell you something deep, and this to kill all that ego tripping, or whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, you're not the only sign that was created. Although you're the star, you're not the only sign that was created after the star. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you as a spirit needed help to finishing up the life. You get what I'm saying? So not only is we as people could be about ourselves all the time, we still have to realize that it's other parts of life and not just about us. So all the time, you end up being bossy if you taking too much in of your own energy. So at the end of the day, be careful about that, because you know your sun is in Aries. So at the end of the day, this is what's gonna be seen. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I mean by that. So it's at the end of the day, you guys have to realize that when you say the self, and even when religious people talk and they bring up biblical terms, they include Aries as being the realm, or they think about the horn. So this would be, you know, the style, you know. So even when you look at like look at a realm like this, it uses its horns to enter war. And you look at an Aries as using his sword on a mythological note, as using his sword to go to war. So it's like at the end of the day, you ready to take it there. And so sometimes they represent as the horn, because you know a realm uses its horns. So anytime sometimes it'll be like little pieces that say something about a horn. This is when you also know that it's talking about Aries as well. So even when you look at Aries, look at the horn, you notice that an Aries, actual human, actually sometimes have high foreheads and things like that. So it's like, it's crazy that you can actually see the characteristics actually being played out. And this is the reason why you need to be very careful, because hey, you're going to be showing your own energy out here. And I don't think at the end of the day you want to show some type of cricket negative type energy. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're full of passion. You're very caring. It's just some people don't see it that way. You know what I mean? And everyone is not going to understand you. So sometimes you have to be the one to try to understand everyone else and have to switch up the way that you're moving. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, yo, that's just a quick breakdown of Aries sun. And we could get deeper onto it and stuff, and even break down of the concept and the characteristics of how mythology and biblical terms talk about Aries in different type of formats, but explain the self and explain personal traits in the world. But either way, man, hopefully you guys tuned in and got this far. And if you did, man, leave a comment down below, and I'm out, yo. OG Drill.